If you're wondering if I totally regret my Nikon Z50 purchase, I completely do. It's been some time now, a couple months, where Nikon just released the new Nikon Z30, and if you have been watching my channel for quite some time, I've been using the Nikon Z50 ever since it was released to have an upgrade from my very old school Nikon D5200. And over the past 2 years, every single one of these videos that I have filmed on my YouTube channel has been filmed on the Nikon Z50 primarily. So the biggest weaknesses of the Nikon Z50 is that you have that really annoying articulating screen. Why they didn't have a normal flippy outy screen beats me, as well as the overall autofocusing issues that I have been having. And as you can see, me with having this mic set up right here, sometimes it detects the microphone or focus on the microphone instead of focusing on me. Especially, if I put this right here, because it covers my face a bit, there's issues with that. But before I go into major rant mode, let's look into the overall specs of both cameras. So the TLDR is that both of these cameras have the exact same sensor. You're looking at the 20.9 megapixel sensor, exact same in both cameras. The major difference between these two cameras is the Nikon Z30 does not have an electronic viewfinder whatsoever. This might be a game breaker depending on what you want to do when it comes to creating content. Another difference between these two cameras is that the Nikon Z30 has unlimited recording time, whereas the Nikon Z50, you can only record 4K videos in 30-minute intervals, where you can flip out the screen and see yourself as almost an external monitor reference point, where for me right now, for every one of the videos that I record on the Nikon Z50, I have to use SnapBridge, which can be a little tedious, or external monitor. But the whole point of having a creator camera is that you can have things where you can reference and without having another step to, hey, I want to see what I look like. Pretty much these two cameras are exactly the same when it comes to the specs. Image quality, looking at the same sensor size, it will take the same video and same pictures. The only difference between these two cameras is the overall body functions of it. No EVF for the Z30, continuous recording, as well as you can power it via USB-C while it's recording. You can't do that on the Nikon Z50. So with the Nikon Z30, there is eye detection when it comes to autofocus in video mode, where the Nikon Z50 only has face detection, which is why once in a while you will see that, it might focus on the mic instead of my face sometimes, but right now it's doing a pretty good job with my Nikon Z50. So, ranting aside, who is the Nikon Z30 for? It is going after the people who have Sony ZV-1s, which I've used, and overall you're using an APS-C sensor within that. So you're going to have better image quality, better video. The only thing is there is no EVF, so you have to be aware of that. As well as the form function, the record button on the Z30 is placed much more conveniently compared to the Nikon Z50. So before my overall thoughts is me being a creator, I should have waited just a little bit, which is why there is a little bit of salt, and I did not want to make this video because I don't have a buyer's remorse. So who do I recommend the Nikon Z50 for? If you're more of a photographer and you need that EVF, the extra function buttons, and you're more of a hybrid and you want to do photos and videos, and you're more of an entry-level shooter, definitely go for the Nikon Z50. If you know that you're not going to take photos a lot, and you may, but not so professionally, and you're much primarily focused more on video content creation, like YouTube videos, you want to see how you look like, unlimited 4K recording time with the exact same sensor of the Z50, as well as eye autofocus. Autofocus is everything when it comes to content creation. Much more have you guys purchase the Nikon Z30. Link's description, so you can check that out, learn from my mistakes, and what's going to be for the future? I'm still going to use my Nikon Z50. There's not, what am I going to do? Go purchase a Nikon Z30 where it's like, If you already have a Nikon Z50, there's no point upgrading to the Nikon Z30 because you're looking at the same type of video and image quality. If you have a Nikon Z50, you're better off waiting for, let's say, the Nikon Z50 version 2, or you want to upgrade to full frame like a Nikon Z6 Mark II. If you're a Nikon Z30, stick with that. There's no point of upgrading from the 50 to the 30. You're essentially downgrading, which is why they priced it, or they labeled it as 30 instead of Nikon Z60. And that was my overall thoughts on the Z30 and how it completely just... This is what the Z50 should have been, in my opinion. Check out all my videos below if you want to see all my cinematic Z50 videos from the best settings to use. And if you still need help with your camera, doesn't matter what type of camera it is, I have a full-fledged course so you can check out how you get the best quality settings, audio, lighting for your camera setup. Check that out in the description below. My name is Peter. You're watching a Broke Vision Collective, where we all start with nothing, but you can always create something. Cheers, guys. Is it still focusing on the mic? This is where autofocus would come in handy. But, you know, can't beat them. Enjoy them.